Beyond the Badge is brought to you by the Edina Crime Prevention Fund.
Welcome to Beyond the Badge, a program about the inner workings of the Edina Police and Fire Departments. Thanks for joining us. I'm Officer Brian Hubbard. When people think of the arts, the local police department probably isn't the first thing to come to mind. But when the Edina Crime Prevention Fund was looking to raise money to augment the Edina Police Department's regular budget, the idea of sponsoring an art fair stuck. Now in its 11th year, the Fall into the Arts Festival has forged a lasting relationship between Edina's police officers and more than 200 artists and craftspeople.
It is a juried show, and I think really what makes it most unique is the location. People will find, when they come here, they will find some of the artists that they've seen at other shows in some instances, but they'll see a real variety.
Proceeds from the Fall into the Arts Festival go directly to the Edina Crime Prevention Fund, allowing the police department to offer expanded services and programming to residents. The K-9 unit, Bike Patrol unit, and youth programming are all made possible because of the Edina Crime Prevention Fund.
This is the big fundraiser for the year. All the money after the expenses goes straight to the crime fund, and 100% of that money is used for the police department. So they can know that however they're spending their money, they are definitely contributing to a good cause.
The Fall into the Arts Festival takes place 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Saturday, September 14th, and 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Sunday, September 15th at Centennial Lakes Park. With summer coming to an end, kids are back in the classroom and school buses are back on city streets. Drivers should take extra care and stop when they see children getting on and off school buses. A school bus stop arm has the full legal force of any other stop sign on the road.
Well, it's going to result in a citation for a driver that fails to yield to a school bus stop arm. If children are actually present and exiting the bus at the time, that is actually a gross misdemeanor. The citation is just a misdemeanor, but it's heightened if there are children getting off the school bus at the time.
When a school bus is stopped on the street and is displaying an extended stop signal arm and flashing red lights, an approaching motorist must stop at least 20 feet away from the bus. Motorists must remain stopped until the school bus driver has retracted the stop signal arm and the red lights are no longer flashing. Exercising caution and practicing vigilant attentiveness around school buses ensures the safety of school children traveling between home and school. For years, the Ford Crown Victoria was the sedan driven by police officers everywhere. In 2011, Ford discontinued the Crown Vic. Ever since, police departments have been exploring their options, test driving Dodge Chargers, Chevy Caprices, and Ford Interceptors in search of a suitable replacement. Let's check in with Fire Captain Ryan Quinn, who is with Deputy Chief Dave Nelson, to talk about the new squad cars that are popping up on Edina streets and how the department made its difficult purchasing decision.
Thanks, Brian. We're here today in the Edina Police Garage. I'm here with Deputy Chief Dave Nelson. How you doing today?
Doing good. How about yourself?
Doing well, thank you. We're here to talk about the new Edina Police Squads. We've got one sitting here behind us, and what can you tell us about this new look and new vehicle?
This is a 2013 Ford Police Interceptor utility, and the main reason that we switched what type of vehicle we drive is they no longer make the Crown Victoria, which we drove for many years.
Well, I can see a couple of changes in the vehicle already. Tell us a little bit about some of the new features that this squad has.
This is an all-wheel drive vehicle, and that's a big difference from what we've always driven as a two-wheel drive vehicle. So an all-wheel drive vehicle will definitely help us in responding to our calls in the winter months. So some of the other features that we put on the vehicle is a new front bumper system with a wrap. Another new feature that we have is a double partition back seat prisoner area with the plastic molded seat. Gives a little bit more leg room than what we currently had in our other squads. And then we are able to store our equipment inside of the squad instead of in the trunk, so all of our medical equipment does stay at a warmer temperature.
And a lot of that's very important, especially with the medical supplies, to keep them warm and ready to go, because you do respond on all of our medicals in the city as well.
Yes.
So what other features does this squad have that the Crown Victorias do not?
Inside the squad, we were able to put in a different gun mount where now it's mounted vertically instead of horizontally behind the officer's head, as our older one was. Makes it a lot easier for the officer to get the gun out of the vehicle when needed. The console that goes in between the seats to hold all of our equipment is a different style, which holds our equipment a little bit better, where officers have easier access to it.
You talked about the added front bumper, the wraparound front bumper. Why is that so important?
We found that when we were building these squads that behind the front quarter panel, the frame of the vehicle was several inches in, and when officers are involved in a pursuit and they're going to conduct a pursuit intervention technique or a pit maneuver, we needed the extra metal on the outside of the car so we could make good contact and safely terminate the pursuit.
In the back seat of the car, you mentioned that it's a plastic seat.
By having the molded plastic seat, it gives the officer, there's more room in the back of the vehicle for bringing someone into the squad and taking them out of the squad. It's also easier for the officer to search the vehicle if anything were left behind, such as needles or paraphernalia.
And you also mentioned the all-wheel drive, which has got to be a huge benefit to responding in any sort of slippery, snowy weather.
Yes, having the all-wheel drive, the little bit of rough roads that we have had earlier in the year, officers definitely notice a huge difference in responding to calls.
Well, that'll keep all of the officers responding quicker and safer. From what I hear on the street, all of the officers are really, really liking this new squad.
Ergonomically, they really like it. Getting in and out of the squad is much easier for them. They like the way it handles a whole lot better than the other squads.
And when they're in there for as long as they are all day long, that's got to be kind of nice.
Yes.
Well, thank you very much for your time today. Thanks for taking us through the new squads.
All right.
Brian, back to you.
Thank you, Ryan. Edina is a community known for its safe and comfortable living. That's why it may surprise you to find out that theft is the #1 crime in the city. Edina 16's Dietrich Nissen has more on why police believe it's prevalent and what residents think about this trend.
For most people who live in or visit Edina, crime doesn't appear to be much of an issue.
I think it's a relatively safe city and I like living here.
I would certainly say it's safe. I'm sure that there's instances where, some negative things happen, but that's going to happen anywhere, and I certainly think that Edina works hard to keep its people safe.
While that's true, if you pull up the city's crime reports, you'll notice theft sticks out.
Theft is our biggest problem. It's a property crime, and that's, if you're going to be a victim of crime in Edina, that's what's most likely to happen, and specifically theft from auto.
Edina crime prevention specialist Molly Anderson says of the 31 jurisdictions within Hennepin County, Edina's crime rate usually falls between 17th and 24th place, first place being the worst.
I think we're all busy, and so we leave things in our cars or we forget to lock them. We've got the kids to bring in and the laundry and the this and the that. So I think it's a hard crime to stop. It's a hard crime to get a handle on.
Police say there are 1,000 fewer thefts in Edina each year. Compare that to Minneapolis, where there have been more than 7,000 thefts since the beginning of 2013.
It's a common problem all over, no matter where you are.
Edina police say the simplest thing you can do is to take your valuables with you before you lock up.
One thing that I always try to tell my kids when we leave is, if you have any valuables in the car, tuck them away, hide them away so it's not, readily visible through the glass, so it's not temptation for someone.
Obviously lock your car, don't leave it unlocked. And if you're gonna leave your purse in your car, don't leave it in plain sight, hide it, maybe put it under a seat in the glove box or something.
And by appearing to not have anything valuable, becoming a victim may not be an issue. In Edina, Dietrich Nissen, Edina 16.
According to multiple websites that track crime statistics, Edina consistently ranks lower than the national and state averages in both property and violent crimes. If you have a theft or other crime to report, contact Edina Police immediately. In an emergency, dial 911. On behalf of my co-host, Fire Captain Ryan Quinn, and the City of Edina's Public Safety team, thanks for tuning in to learn a little bit more of what goes on beyond the badge. Until next time, stay safe.
Beyond the Badge is brought to you by the Edina Crime Prevention Fund.